Uh-oh. The last cookie.
You can get a new box of cookies in as fast as an hour with Walmart Express Delivery.
Are you my guilty self-conscience?
No, I'm the voice offering you promo code EXPRESS for free delivery on your first order.
Hey, who ate my cookies?
You mean, these cookies?
Order now. Welcome to your Walmart. Promotion valid for first express delivery order. $50 minimum subject to availability. Restrictions apply.
You're the perfect blend of elegance and style, and your ride should be no different. The 2024 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid meets all your needs, from business to brunch and everywhere in between. With head-turning details like a sleek front end, plus stylish interior, and an available 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster and seamless tech integration. Okay, Hyundai. Visit HyundaiUSA.com to learn more about the new 2024 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid.
Spring is here, and you can now get almost anything you need for your sunny days delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get a chicken parmesan delivered. A cabana? That's a no. But a banana? That's a yes. A nice tan? Sorry, nope. But a box fan? Happily, yes. A day of sunshine? No. A box of fine wines? Yes. Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast. The NBA playoffs are here, and Michelob Ultra is getting you closer to the game than ever with courtside seats and more. Enter now at MichelobUltra.com/courtside. Michelob Ultra Superior Access Courtside 2024 to 2025 sweepstakes. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents 21 or older. Ends on July 1st, 2025. Multiple entry periods. Visit MichelobUltra.com/superior access/courtside for free entry deadlines, and official rules. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited.
So good, so good, so good.
Great gifts for mom? We've got them. And they're up to 60% off at Nordstrom Rack stores now.
You know they have Marc Jacobs?
Gotta show mom some love.
That is so good.
Snag amazing deals on Mother's Day gifts from Barefoot Dreams, Kate Spade New York, and more. Great brands, great prices. That's why you rack.
From the field to the film room to the war room, we've got you covered every step of the way as the road to the draft starts right now. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Armchair Scouts. I am your host, Shane Haff. You can follow me on Twitter at ShaneHaffNFL. I'm joined today by my co-host and fellow draft enthusiast, Dibes. Give him a follow on Twitter at Mr. Crockpot. Be sure to check out his podcast, Party on Broad. Dibes, how are you doing tonight?
What's going on, man? Happy draft week, man.
Happy draft week. Also joined by his co-host on Party on Broad, Ryan. Give him a follow on Twitter at Philly Sports PSA. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm good. 48 hours, and we'll be in the thick of it. Can't wait.
All right, and last but not least, I am joined by my co-host on Chalk Talk, Mark Henry Jr. Give him a follow on Twitter at Mark Henry Jr. _. Be sure to check out his Tough Cover radio show every Saturday. Mark, how are you doing?
Couldn't be more excited, even if I've kind of been crapping on this draft class all along. I keep saying there's like nothing separating my number 8 from my number 31 player, which is good in a draft where the Eagles are picking 32nd. I think you still have a chance to get one of the better players in the draft. So excited for Thursday.
All right, and we are going to be doing a live stream on Thursday night, NFL watch party, so you guys can get rid of the TV coverage. You can come hang out with us. Todd McShay is not going to read your comments live on air, but we will. We'll talk about all the players, so you guys come hang out with us during the draft. It'll be a lot of fun. But tonight, we are doing our helmet stickers for the 2025 NFL draft. Each of us has 4 prospects that we are the highest on. And so the way we're going to structure this show is whoever is the highest on a guy is going to give the pitch, why this guy is good, why everybody else should be higher on them. And then we're going to kick it over to the guy that is lowest on that prospect to give us that dose of reality, what you don't like about him. So we're going to kind of play off of the strengths and weaknesses here And we tried to keep it kind of even. I ended up with 3 guys I was lowest on and Mark with 5, and we fudged it a little bit, to be honest. Like, there's one guy that Ryan's like 1 spot higher on than Mark, but we gave him to Ryan as long as it was close. But that's the general idea, the general bent of the show here. And so let's start off. We will throw it to Dibes first. Dibes, your first helmet sticker guy is Malachi Starks, safety out of Georgia. You have him all the way up at number 4. And I'm the lowest on him. I have him at number 19. Mark and Ryan are in between us there. So you go first, Dibes. What do you like so much about Malachi Starks? And then I guess I'll tell you why you're wrong.
The question for Malachi is not necessarily what he can or cannot do. It's whether or not the versatility he has, that elite versatility to transcend some of that traditional positional value. Does he fall in this draft? I think, like you said, he's a top 5 blue chip talent. There's no shortage of roles he's capable of filling. He's got big time football instincts. He's always in the right position to make plays on the football and coverage. He's not an elite athlete, but I think he's a smooth mover. I think he's a solid deep free safety in the NFL, fits the Eagles to a T. I also think he's got a lot of traits to cover guys in the slot. He's physical enough in the box. Excellent tackler. He's only got a handful of missed tackles during his entire career. Defends the run really well. Does a great job shedding blocks. Ready, or day one ready starter in the NFL. Again, perfect fit for Vic Fangio. What he wants to do in Philadelphia. Just one of those true chess pieces in this draft that I would love in Midnight Green.
Yeah, the biggest negative on Malachi Starks just comes with like his transitions and his agility. And I think you see that in his athletic testing. He had a 4.45 shuttle, which was 25th percentile, a 7.28 3-cone, which was 28th percentile. And maybe that doesn't matter a ton for like a deep field safety, but this is a guy that you want to move around and you want to be able to use in the slot and in the box, and particularly in the slot, you need to be able to transition better than he does. So I think he's going to struggle in man coverage against shifty receivers. He just doesn't sink his hips well enough to not give up that separation. He can carry you vertically like straight speed. His straight speed is fine. It's just that stop-start ability, that fluidity there. And the other thing with him is there's just some reps where I don't understand what he's doing. Like there's times where he'll make poor decisions and seemingly he just like abandons his responsibility and will leave a guy wide open. Now, I'm not in the room. I don't know how he's being coached, what he's told to do in some of these situations, but I can't make sense of why sometimes, he'll leave a guy running straight up the seam at him to go chase a crossing route with nobody else there to pick it up. I don't understand what's happening there. And so those are things I would want to ask him about in a film room session, if I was a team interviewing him. But I mean, overall, I like Starks. I'm 19th on him. I don't hate the guy. I'd be thrilled if the Eagles took him. But top 5, that's crazy talk, Dibes.
I think his 2023 tape was so outstanding. And I think, the production did not match 2023 in 2024. But he was also playing hurt. So there's that. And I think he's just he would be so fun to watch. I disagree, Punt Man. I do think he's a solid cover safety, and I think he's a very good slot corner.
All right. Question here from Krabby Oldman. What time do you start Thursday for the draft show? Draft starts at 8 Eastern, so I would imagine we'll probably be live at like 7:45 Eastern.
Yep.
Somewhere in that time frame, but we'll advertise that out. So let's go to Ryan's first helmet sticker guy. I can't believe this isn't my guy, but interior offensive lineman Tate Ratledge. Ryan edged me out by 1 spot, having him at 27, and Mark is the lowest on him at 41. So, Ryan, you're up first on Tate Ratledge, and then we'll throw it to Mark.
All right. Well, Tate Ratledge is definitely one of my more favorite prospects. This guy, you just look at a picture of him. He just looks like an offensive lineman that would fit in well with the Philadelphia Eagles. He's a former high school shot putter, so he has just an absolute array of power coming from his hands that he's able to initiate contact. Pretty powerful on some of these D linemen. He's got great in pass protection, great technique, able to kind of withstand the defensive line's powerful bull rushes. But I think it's more or less his coachability, his leadership, his nasty demeanor that kind of checks all the boxes for me. He seems to be able to recover well when he loses a step and stays into the play. He's able to kind of latch on and really be an anchor on that Georgia line. I just think he would be such a great, at the next level. Obviously, I certainly look at him through Eagles lenses, considering he's more of a right guard. But yeah, he just kind of, again, has the athleticism, has the power, has the nasty streak, all three things that you really want in a prospect. So.
All right. So that is Tate Ratledge. The positives, Mark, why do you hate Tate Ratledge?
This is offensive that I'm lowest on him. There's two people I'm going to slam this button on. I have no argument against Tate Ratledge. I'm working. I'm working on a mock draft thread where I do a mock for every team except for the Giants because I hate them. And Tate Ratledge, I'm mocking to every team that needs an interior O lineman in the second, third round. It feels like, and I'm somehow the lowest of them out of all of us. I have him 41st overall. I've been saying 32 to 52 has no separation, so 32 to 41 has even less separation. My scouting report, the comp is Evan Mathis, who is like an all-pro guard. 9.98 relative athletic score, 2 sacks allowed over 3 years, back-to-back All-American. I think there's a really high floor and a pretty darn high ceiling, like pretty much a finished product. Like, great stuff. 3-year starter at the SEC. The only negative at all is he can be a little too upright and has some reoccurring ankle problems. That's pretty minor in terms of a negative weakness there. So I love Tate Ratledge. I hate what you guys are making me do.
I would say that was a terrible job of telling us why you shouldn't take Tate Ratledge. But in Mark's defense, he's the lowest of the 4 of us on Ratledge, and he's still 26 spots higher than the consensus is on Ratledge. So we all just like Tate Ratledge.
Love Tate Ratledge.
All right, well, let's keep rolling here. We're going to go to wide receiver out of Texas. Matthew Golden is number 16 on my board. He's number 48 on Mark's board. So we got a big discrepancy on this one. So Matthew Golden's a guy that really came into the limelight during the college football playoff, the final 4 games of the season. He was fantastic for Texas. It's one of those things as you watch Matthew Golden, what really sticks out is how bad Quinn Ewers is more than anything else. But explosive player, ran a 4.29 40 with a 1.47 10-yard split. Both of those are 90th percentile. So he gets off the line quickly. He can stack cornerbacks and take the top off the defense. He can throttle down and cut and then accelerate to generate separation. I think he's a really crisp route runner who transitions to a runner quickly after the catch so he can maximize yak for you. He's got really good body control in contested catch situations. He converted on 70% of those opportunities this season. Excels at toe tapping on the sidelines. Lined up all over the field for Texas. 24% of his snaps in the slot, the rest out at the boundary. Ran a well-defined route tree. This is not a slot limited player. And on top of that, he averaged 25 yards per return across 2 seasons handling kick return duties. And the NFL is very invested in this kickoff thing, staying the way it is and even moving touchbacks up further this year. So I think you got a guy in Matthew Golden that can get on the field early as a Z receiver. You can kick him into the slot. You can use him as a return man. I think there's a lot of opportunities for him and his explosiveness at the next level.
Yeah, I think I'm just like in general a lot lower on some of the late round 1, early round 2 receivers than a lot of people. And the Golden thing is just that it's such a limited sample size because he was such a small part of the offense until pretty late in the year, and then obviously tore it apart the last couple of weeks. I guess there's a couple of these other guys in the receiver class that I feel a little bit stronger about just because I've seen more of them in different situations. Whereas you look at the guy like Tate Ratledge, I have 41st overall, for instance, and I have Matthew Golden 48th overall. I'm a lot more sure that Tate Ratledge can step in day one and start than Matthew Golden. There's probably more upside with Matthew Golden, I guess, just naturally because of the position. But I find myself a little bit lower on this wide receiver class. He's my wide receiver. I think he's my wide receiver 5. And I only have one first-round grade on wide receivers this year. I comped him to Emmanuel Sanders. So, I mean, if you get Emmanuel Sanders' career, are you happy with that with the 16th pick? Probably. I think you're probably happy with it at 48 too. But I'm not blown away by his tape in the way that I have been with some of the other, speed demons of the last couple of years, I guess.
All right. So that is Matthew Golden. Let's go to Mark's first helmet sticker guy. It's cornerback Benjamin Morrison out of Notre Dame. He is at number 11 for Mark. He's number 32 for me. So I'll take the rebuttal here. But Mark, you're up first on Morrison.
Full bias, obviously, with him being a Notre Dame Fighting Irishman. But my comp for him was Marlon Humphrey, a little bit of an undersized corner. He does have pretty good arm length for his being 6 foot tall. But 6 picks in 2022. I think says it all. 3 picks in 2023. He only played 6 games in 2024. He didn't have a pick because people stopped throwing it at him while he was out there. He has a 20.5% forced incompletion rate on target. It's directed at him. Great in press, great at crowding the receiver at the line, good kind of playing zone and, keeping his eyes in the backfield, and obviously awesome ball skills with 9 picks in 2 years to start his college career. Very willing run defender for his size, son of a former NFL safety, so he's got that running through his bloodline. I really do think if this is a guy who, if he would have played a full year and got to play that championship run, it feels wrong to say since they lost it, but run to the championship game for Notre Dame on the biggest stages against some big names, I think that he's probably getting a lot more buzz right now than he is. And obviously there is a hip concern. He missed the second half of last year with a hip injury. I'm no doctor, so I can't tell you whether or not that's going to be something that repeats itself or that's a one-time or a freak accident. But keeping it on the football field, I see no reason that this guy shouldn't go top 15. I have him 11th overall.
All right. Yeah, for me, I just look at – you can layer the hip injury thing over it all, but that's not what I'll focus on because I'm also not a doctor. But I think he's inconsistent in his transitions at times. He lets shiftier receivers get separation, and maybe will that be made worse by the hip injury? Does he come back at 100%? I don't know on that, but I don't think he has ideal long speed or makeup speed once that happens to him. Like if you can get behind him, he's going to struggle to make up that ground. And he's a bit of a gambler in coverage, and that can be a good thing. It can also, cost you some big plays. He'll roll the dice to make big plays at the expense of being sound in coverage. In the run game, he's willing to stick his nose in the fan, but he routinely will give up yards after contact. He gets knocked back, and he does struggle to engage from blocks in the run game. So he'll give up contain on the edge at times. I like Benjamin Morrison, and I think if you want to draft him to be your CB2, I think that's a really good spot for him. I just don't think he's necessarily the guy you want to be your CB1. So that's why I've got him down at 32 as opposed to up at 11 like Mark does. So that's my Benjamin Morrison hate, I guess. Mm-hmm. Hate on a guy that I have 32 overall. But okay, that is our first round of helmet sticker, guys. We may have to go rapid fire by the time we get to the last one, but let's kick it back over to Dibes for his second helmet sticker. And it is Trey Harris, wide receiver out of Mississippi. He is number 8 on Dibes' board. He's number 27 on Mark's board. So Dibes, you're up first, and then Mark will have the rebuttal.
Happy to have Trey Harris on my guys here. I mean, multiple productive seasons throughout his college career. Had a very solid senior send-off at Ole Miss. He's a guy that can win reps in multiple ways. His ability in the red zone, his ability to win contested catch situations is top-notch, arguably better than any other prospect in this draft. Big frame, efficient, reliable hands, elite speed. No, doesn't have elite speed, but he's got a good explosiveness, and he showed that at the combine. He's got experience playing in the slot. He's got a large frame. I think he'd really fill any role a team is looking for him to provide at the NFL level. And I think he's got upside as a wide receiver 1. And I've got a firm round 1 grade on him. He has some injury history, but so did Ladd McConkey, and he went high. Trey Harris played in a Mickey Mouse offense, but that's not his fault. I think the versatility, 120 plus snaps in the slot the last 2 years. I think the elite production in the best conference. I think the measurements at the combine, including his amazing burst. I never understood the Trey Harris hate, man. I think he's the total package.
All right, Mark, what do you have to say to that?
I love Trey Harris.
Mark, you're terrible at this show. I'm going to need you to act like you don't like some of these guys.
I'll do it with everybody else. It was Trey Harris and Tate Ratledge that I can't believe I'm the lowest on. Trey Harris, another guy who I'm obsessed with mocking to everybody I can. He's my wide receiver too. He's my second highest ranked wide receiver, but just how it's stacked out on the overall list, he's my highest ranked second round pick. He didn't get a first round grade from me. Him and Egbuka are my 2 highest ranked players who didn't get a first round grade from me. So I love Trey Harris. He will, if I was the GM of every team, he would go in the first round since I have him at 27s. But I would take that job, by the way, all 32 NFL GM jobs.
All right. Would you try to do a good job for all of them, or would you just take it so you could get the Eagles all the good players?
Well, we would definitely favor the Eagles. We would screw the Giants, screw the Cowboys, but keep the Cowboys good enough to be interesting when they lose. And then we'll be pretty fair with everybody else.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Let's keep it rolling here. Let's go to Ryan's second helmet sticker guy. This one's been a long time coming. It is tight end / wide receiver / fullback, Harold Fannin Jr. out of Bowling Green. He is number 51 on Ryan's big board. He is not in Dibes' top 100. So, Ryan, you're up first, and then Dibes has the rebuttal.
I'd also like to say shame on you for your disrespectful intro.
What, he can't play all of those positions?
First of all, how dare you?
Yeah, how dare you? How dare you? Harold Fanning is an absolute stud, in my opinion. He came into Bowling Green, sat behind an all-MAC tight end, waited in the wings, had a pretty decent sophomore season, and absolutely blew up this past year, his junior year, becoming the first tight end in NCAA football FBS history to lead the nation in receptions and receiving yards. Not just for tight ends, for everybody. He is an absolute yak machine. He's not, I would say, certainly not the fastest guy out there for sure. Doesn't have that elite speed, but again, he is an elite route running machine who has amazing footwork, great at creating separation, whether it be zone, whether it be man, insane hands, catches everything that comes to him, has just 2 career drops. Absolute, like I said, yak ability. And, he just finds the soft spots and zones. He can be an okay blocker, especially in the run game. I think a lot of people seem to over analyze and try to knock down his blocking ability. I think it is certainly something that needs some work on the next level, as most tight ends and most players in general need help blocking. But the dude is an absolute baller. You give him the football, and he will absolutely get you some yards and touchdowns.
All right. Dibes, get him.
Yeah, Antonio.
You're muted, Dibes.
Why did you say it?
I widely disagree. I think he's not as a great athlete as you make him out to be. I think he's got stiff lower legs. I don't think he's a great route runner. Doesn't show a lot of bend in his cuts. The majority of his targets were schemed up. So there's that. And saying he's an okay blocker is the nicest way I've heard it said. Did not put up great numbers at the combine, and I was rooting for him. But man, he definitely disappointed in a class, a tight end class that's desperately starving for a tight end 3 in this group to reveal itself. And he's supposed to be this giant yak guy, and that was just a big time missed opportunity. His combine numbers weren't great. I think he's more of a day 3 guy than he has a day 2. I think he's widely overrated, especially for an Eagles fit. I don't like him whatsoever. I would rather have Goddard than Harold Fannin.
Ryan is a fan of Fannin. You could even call him a Fannin.
Wow. How long have you been sitting on that one?
About 90 seconds.
All right, let's keep rolling. My second helmet sticker guy is edge rusher Mike Green out of Marshall. He is number 9 on my big board. He is down at number 46 on Mark's big board. Oh, wait, this one we're giving to Ryan, though. Ryan has him at 44, so we fudged the ranking just a little because Mark was the lowest on like half these guys because he hates everybody. But I am taking off the board the ability to talk about the off the field things because that's not how I'm looking at players. If we're looking at that, he probably wouldn't be on my draft board to begin with. So I want to acknowledge that part up front. But if you're just looking at the guy on the field, which is what I try to do, I try to discount injury and off field concerns and let the people whose job it is and has the access look into that. He was first in sack rate among draftable edges. He was first in defensive stop rate. He is a very good athlete that wins in space with speed, agility, and body control. He's got a very quick first step, and he just doesn't slow down. Explosive off the line. He's got a lot of good counter moves that he employs effectively. He doesn't fall into patterns. He keeps offensive tackles guessing, and then he takes the openings that they give him. He's bendy around the edge, high effort. He can chase down run plays from the backside if you leave him unblocked. He had 17 sacks and 23 tackles for loss this season. He's the whole package as a pass rusher. And so based off of his pass rushing potential, you could have some concerns about the ability to anchor in the run game. But he's got the potential to be a double-digit sack guy in the NFL. And regardless of where you're at run defense-wise, that makes you a very draftable edge rusher. So that's why I've got him up as high as I do, acknowledging he's going to be off a lot of teams' boards because of some off-field things. But purely the player, that's where I've got him. He's number 9 overall for me. Ryan, what don't you like on the field about Mike Green?
Oh man, that's good. Listen, yeah, obviously you kind of do have to say that, but I think the limited experience, again, only has the 1 year as a full-time starter. He also has limited experience dropping back into coverage. Only 21 snaps over his 2 seasons at Marshall. When tackling. He appears to leave his feet quite often. which leads to some missed tackles. And I think ideally I'd like to see him bulk up a little bit more. He could use I think he's going to need some more upper body strength to kind of deal with the NFL tackles. But yeah, I mean, listen, he's definitely has an amazing talent to get to the quarterback, and that alone will get you drafted. So I'd certainly like to see his game kind of get rounded out, but I just I'm a little bit lower on it than I guess everybody else. That's all.
All right. Mark, what?
The only reason that I feel like this guy's like made in a lab for me to not like him in the draft, coming from like a small school, a little undersized, that edge. I feel like he's just like designed for me to dislike him.
All right. Fair enough. Let's go to Mark, second helmet sticker guy. It is interior defensive lineman Deion Walker out of Kentucky. He is 21 on Mark's big board. He is 69th on my big board. So, Mark, you're up first, and then I'll have the follow-up.
Yeah, I'm just bullish on him. The 2023 tape is what I keep going back to, where he had 7.5 sacks, 13 tackles for loss, 39 hurries, 51 pressures. Like, he led all defensive linemen on the interior in pressures and hurries in 2023. And in 2024, he had a down year. I think how down it was can be overstated sometimes. I think he was still a pretty huge factor in the run game most of the time. And he did have a factor in 2022 as well, but his 2023 play or his 2024 play diminished from his 2023 play in part because he was playing with a broken back, which they found at the combine. Now you could turn that around and say, does he have back problems? Again, not a doctor, but I'm just so addicted to his 2023 tape, and it's hard for me to not look at that instead of just looking at the 2024 tape. I know usually I'm kind of low on the guy who pops and then diminishes the next year. I think it's pretty relevant to point out that Kentucky defense outside of him and Maxwell Harrison was completely barren of talent. That defensive line has nothing besides him on it. So everybody was able to focus on him entirely, and he was obviously injured. So obviously a disappointing year in 2024. I still have him 21st overall. Obviously I had him higher earlier in the process. You find out about the back thing. It does scare you a little bit, but I refuse to just give up on him. He's going to go in the third round, probably, maybe even the fourth round. And I think if he stays healthy, and he can get back to his 2023 form, he's going to be one of the steals of the draft.
Yeah, this is a guy that honestly I probably should have reevaluated once the news of the back injury came out, because a lot of the things I listed as weaknesses for him, I can look at it now in light of that news and be like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. Like inconsistencies getting out of his stance. Sometimes he's really good, but often he pops up, which yields leverage to the offensive line. Makes sense if you got a broken back. Which, by the way, like, how are you a medical staff at a Division I university in the premier college football conference and you don't notice that one of your superstars has a broken back? I don't know how that happens, but
it's crazy.
The big thing for me at 6'6", 345, he's just not going to play much on passing downs. You're just not going to be able to play a lot of volume, I don't think. He fades as games progress. And so playing high snap loads at his size is going to be hard. Maybe you get him to slim down. That's really my biggest concern, I guess, aside from the back stuff, which I try not to talk too much about. But like you said, 2023, he blew up. 2024 was a bad year. And then you have the injury stuff. So it's really hard to kind of think about him appropriately.
In 2024, he it felt like he was overused and it felt like he was tired a lot. Obviously, I think you contribute that to the back. The funny thing about that is he played 540 snaps in 2024. The year he was excellent in 2023, 80.6 PFF grade, led it in pressure rate, led it in pressures in general. Played 728 snaps that year, 425 of them being pass rush snaps. Like, I do think if he's right, I actually think I'm more bullish on the pass rush than the run stuffing. And I know that sounds crazy to say, But that 2023 tape is just, I know I keep saying the same thing over and over again. I love him.
All right. Let's get to our third round of helmet sticker guys. We're going to throw it to Dibes for Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M. He is number 20 on Dibes' board. He's actually 53 for me and 54 for both Mark and Ryan. So we're all of the same mind, but we'll throw it to Ryan for the rebuttal. But Dibes, you're up first.
Shamar Stewart, man. Just the ultimate example of traits versus production. All kinds of twitch, all the explosiveness you want, but for whatever reason, just has not been able to finish, just has not been able to compile the sacks. He only had 2 in 2024. He did have 39 pressures and 15 run stops, but you start with the measurable, 6'6", 290 pounds, absolutely blew up the combine. Definitely a better run defender than a pass rusher right now. He's got really good strength. He's very disruptive. He knows how to blow up plays on a regular basis. But a lot of people are questioning the tape, and they're right to do so. But let's talk about defensive end Odafe Owe, a guy from Penn State who measured in 6'5", 255 pounds, ran a 4.39 40-yard dash. His broad jump, 11'2", was outstanding during the draft process. Some teams did a double take when they saw 7 sacks over 3 years with the Nittany Lions, 0 during his final year. What happened? The Ravens bet on traits over production and were rewarded. He switched to linebacker, and he's had 23 sacks in 4 years. And, talking about switch, I do think Shamar Stewart can play defensive tackle at the next level as he kind of matures. Owe had 10 sacks in 2024, the second most on the team on one of the best defenses in the NFL. Next up, Trey Walker, a defensive end that had 9.5 sacks over 3 years at Georgia, was selected number 1 overall. And, by the Jaguars bet on that upside. Now he's posted back-to-back double-digit sack totals. So, yeah, I get it. There's way more examples of these traits guys kind of busting than booming, but I think Shamar Stewart might be, with Owe and Trey Walker as a guy that can turn that narrative.
All right. Ryan, thoughts on Shamar Stewart? You're muted.
Sorry, seems to be the theme tonight. Listen, I get it. You're certainly grasping at straws when it comes to his lack of production, and you're right to do that. But you said it perfectly. There are more cases of this not working out, and he had to make a position switch, for the guy that you brought up. But yeah, I mean it's alarming. 4.5 career sacks is not a lot, considering it's not like he just played 1 year. So he certainly has a lot of raw ability. He seems to needs to learn how to kind of use his hands a little bit more effectively, engage maybe a little bit sooner. He seems to struggle, in basically finishing the play. He gets pressures, but he can't get the quarterback down. And to me, I think that's too big of a gamble, to throw in a first-round guy. I want talent, production, and athleticism in somebody that I'm going to take in the first round. So, I just don't see it. Again, I get it. He's a combine guy. He shows up real well, but I need to see it in a game, and I don't have any proof of that.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
That's your money saying it's time for a McDonald's run. Because with new McValue at McDonald's, you get more than you expect. Like buy a 6-piece McNuggets and add a McChicken for just $1. Your money says let's go. Get more than you expect with new McValue. Prices and participation may vary. Valid for item of equal or lesser value.
There are people out there all across the country pushing boundaries to grow the game of golf. Like champion speed golfer Lauren Cupp, who plays faster than anyone else. And Will Lowry, whose work in the golf community inspires more kids to get into the game. As a champion partner of the Masters, Bank of America supports everyone determined to find out what's possible. In golf and in life. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC, copyright 2025, Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Sergeant and Mr. Smith, you're gonna love this house.
Bunk beds in a closet?
There's no field manual for finding the right home. But when you do, USAA Homeowners Insurance can help protect it the right way. Restrictions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
All right. So there you go on Shamar Stewart. Let's flip the script here now. And let's go to Cameron Williams, which is Ryan's helmet sticker guy at 63 overall. He is not in Dives' top 100. It is the second time Dives has not had one of Ryan's helmet sticker guys in his top 100. So, Ryan, talk about your guy, and then we'll let Dives come at you.
Man, I should have realized I should have been nicer. Yeah, listen, I get the other tackle from Texas seems to get more of the love, but I personally like right tackles a little bit better now these days, considering we've been looking for the Lane Johnson replacement for what seems like a decade at this point. But Williams is a humongous specimen, really. He was almost about 370 heading into or at the end of his junior year. Slimmed down, lost about 35 pounds, 35, almost 40 pounds. And, really dedicated himself to kind of getting into better shape. And he certainly did that. I think he had his best year on film. He's got an amazing upper body strength, great at the initial point of contact, great with his hands, great strength in his hands, and allows him to kind of maneuver his defenders when he locks in. He showed that against the great Georgia defense. You seem to lock anybody that came his way. He can certainly maneuver his feet in a way that I feel like for somebody his size you shouldn't be able to do. So that mobility I think is rare for that for that size, and he's also able to get into that second level in the screen game. So he's also just an intelligent player, and he has a nasty streak when called upon. So I think he's a little bit raw. He's certainly not a first round guy or anything, but I just like I just kind of like what I see on film and what he brings to the table.
All right, Dives, thoughts?
Yeah, another tackle that moves probably to the interior, at least initially. I'm not really high on this offensive line group, and maybe I'm wrong for that. But I see this guy as super green. He's a very raw prospect in both phases: pass protection, run blocking. This is a guy who got cooked against Georgia last year. He gave up 3 sacks and 10 pressures in 2 games, gave up 2 sacks and 5 pressures in that Ohio State game. And he had a remarkable 17 penalties last year. So on paper, he's supposed to be this elite athlete with great measurables, but we don't have an RS score, so I can't really comment on that. So for me, I mean, he's a bigger unknown than Shamar Stewart. So, and I'll bet on those traits all day. So that's my take on Cameron Williams.
All right, let's keep it rolling along here to my third helmet sticker guy. Is wide receiver Alec Iomanor out of Stanford. I have him at number 39 overall. Mark and Ryan both have him at number 72. I think we gave this one to Ryan. So I'll talk about him first positively, and then we'll let Ryan, tear him down as Ryan likes to do. I should have said that when Ryan was on screen instead of hidden, but so he is 6'1", 206 pounds, 9.71 relative athletic score. Was not the most productive player at Stanford, had a 1,000-yard season in 2023, 831 yards in 2024, but I think he's a savvy route runner. He's able to create separation against man coverage with ease. I think he does a good job of altering his tempo throughout the route stem and then snapping his routes off. He's got a really good football IQ. He's able to identify zone coverages and find the windows to sit down against zone really well. He's a good ball tracker deep downfield. He shows his hands late and gives defenders less time to react, and he pretty routinely makes difficult sideline catches. And Stanford liked to use him that way. He had the highest ADOT among wide receivers in this draft class at 14.2 yards average depth of target, using his 4.4 speed to get up the field. And then he's a high effort blocker in the run game. His technique's not great. I wouldn't call him a great run blocker, but the effort's there, and you can fix that technique, I think, and make him a pretty good run blocker. So I think he fits well as like a Z receiver that I think could bump into the slot as well, even though he only took about 14% of his snaps there at Stanford. So I think he gives you some versatility, some movability, and there's a lot of tools there that I like. So that's why I've got him up a little bit higher. Ryan, you've got him significantly lower than I do. What are the holes in his game that you see?
Usually for my wide receivers, I would really like them to be able to catch the ball. He has 12 drops since 2023. He seems more interested in running without the football than waiting to actually catch the ball. I'm not a fan of his separation. I think in the next level, I think that's going to get even more exposed. He seems to rely a little bit on his physicality yet in that regard, but then yet when he's going up against a more physical corner, he seems to get thrown off his game. His route tree is very limited. It seems really just kind of focused on, vertical routes and some, crossing patterns. But I think, he certainly has traits that can turn into something. I just think it's going to be a very slow process for him to get there. And number one of all is catch the ball first, then turn. Yeah,
it is helpful to catch. And he's not been great at that, but we'll get him on a jugs machine. It'll be fine.
There you go.
All right, let's keep rolling. Mark's third helmet sticker guy is cornerback Darian Porter out of Iowa State. He's number 23 for Mark. He's number 63 for Dibes. So, Mark, you're up first, and then Dibes, you got second.
Most of these guys are guys that I kind of came into the draft process loving, like all of the other helmet sticker guys. And then the guy I cut out of my helmet sticker list, James Pierce, were guys I came into the draft process knowing I was going to love. The guy who I fell in love with covering this draft process and kind of grinding that tape is Darian Porter. And it's only 1 year of tape to grind because he's only a 1 year starter. And I'm usually skeptical of that. He's a receiver turned cornerback. He was a decorated track star, which I think translates on the film. And I think I'm usually wary of 2-3 star prospects or position change guys. But when you have someone who's 6'3", 195 with a 9.99 relative athletic score, the number 5 most athletic corner in the history of the scouting combine, I think that there's some pretty favorable comps to Tariq Woolen, to Joey Porter Jr., but the ball skills and the athleticism are enough for me to buy in and go all in and hope that there's an upside we aren't considering when we talk about, I get that he's 24, but this is still a new position to him. And I think, in the only year we have of him starting, I thought he was pretty fantastic. He's going to need to gain strength as a run defender. He'll be at his best in zone. He was also a special teams star, 5 block kicks, for 4 of them being punts. Not that you're drafting him, to be a special teams guy if you're taking him on day 1 or even on day 2. But he's he was one of my last first-round grades that I gave out. I think that it's kind of like Nick Emanwery at safety, with the athleticism and ball skills just being enough for me to buy in.
All right. Dibes, over to you.
I mean, I could go on and on about the amount of players on the Eagles roster that are younger than him. He's going to be 25 by the end of his rookie season. He's just got a few years of cornerback experience. Did not start his first game at cornerback until his 6th season in college. And I think as a developmental guy, a guy that's not a good run defender, I question his fit on the outside due to those hips. I don't know. I don't buy it. I get the combine as well. I just think he's kind of a tweener that's more of a linebacker than a cornerback, but he's not a great tackler. So that's my take.
All right. So let's kick it over to our last round of helmet sticker guys. We're going to go to edge rusher. Braden Swinson from LSU. He is number 37 for Dibes. He is number 103 for Mark. So Dibes, you're up first, and then Mark, you're next.
Yeah, this one's a fun one. Braden Swinson, let's talk about him. I think he's underrated. I don't know why people aren't talking about him more, and I think he's a great fit for Vic Fangio's defense. On top of that, last year he led the team with 13 tackles for loss, 8.5 sacks, had 12 quarterback hurries, forced 2 fumbles. His 22% pass rush win rate last year was 10th best among all FBS edge defenders. His 60 pressures was tied with Donovan Ezeraku and Elijah Roberts for 6th most. And you look at the highest percentage of pass rushes with a pressure last year among all the top edge rushers in the draft, 20.1%. That's 2nd best. You know who was first, Mark? James Pierce Jr., 23.4%. So I think his first step is explosive. That's what the Eagles really look for against the run. I think he's got a solid foundation. Again, 13 tackles for loss, 6'4", 250 pounds. He's got an incredible bull rush. And for an Eagles defense, he definitely is better, as a stand-up outside linebacker, if that's the way the Eagles want to play him. But I think he's got upside. I think he's got a great foundation to set the edge in the run game. Like, he's right there. Braden Swinson and Femi Oladejo are like my favorite edge rushers, linebackers for the Philadelphia Eagles in that round 2 area.
All right, Mark.
I think he stinks defending the run.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to be a run defender. I think he's just a situational pass rusher. And for a situational pass rusher, I don't think he jumps off the screen as an athlete, and I think he's pretty undersized. So you guys know my type with edge rushers. They got to be big and they got to have sack production. He has some sack production this year and more hurry production, but I don't think he's a great finisher. I don't think he's a great or I don't think he's a good run defender. So it really comes down to him needing to be an elite pass rusher, and I'm not there on that.
All right, so that is Braden Swinson. Let's go to Ryan's last guy, safety Kevin Winston Jr. out of Penn State. He has him at number 57. Mark, you have him at number 106. So Ryan, this is the third time somebody hasn't had a guy of yours in their top 100, but here we are. Talk to me about Kevin Winston Jr.
Oh man, yeah. Clearly, I'm not having a good day today. Yeah, listen, I'm shocked that I'm this much higher on Winston. Again, obviously, early this season, I think it was game 2. He goes down, partially torn ACL. So he really were kind of basing all this off of a game and a half and his 2023 starting all 13 games, leading the Lions in tackles, 2.5 tackles for loss, 2 fumble recoveries, interceptions, and 5 pass breakups. But he's a great run defender, able to kind of diagnose and attack, and has the knowledge, the instinct to know when to come up or come down, I should say. Has the ability to really lay some lumber when he's when he wants to. He's not as wild as maybe a Sidney Brown, that's for sure. But he certainly has that kind of violent streak in him, which I think people are very aware of when he's out on the field. I think he plays equally good in kind of when he's asked to man cover versus zone. But certainly he's much better at zone. His instincts are just certainly sharper. I think he has great size, great length for somebody who can kind of cover with whatever wide receiver and to lay the heat down when he needs to.
All right, Mark.
It's just such a small sample size. Like, even in the 1 year he played, he didn't play all the snaps. He only played about 500 snaps. I don't think in that 1 year he was good enough for me to be like, okay, this small sample size is enough for me and I'll extrapolate it. Kind of like, I thought he was fine. Like, I think, he could translate to be a fine starting safety. I think he's a good tackler, but the funny thing about that is it's like, he's only missed 2 career tackles, but he only has 89 career tackling attempts. So it's like, you talk about a lot of linebackers in this class, and it's like they have like 120 tackle seasons, and or obviously different. He's a safety, but and even some safeties that have a ton of tackles too. But I just think it's such a small sample size. Obviously, there is an ACL injury. I try to kind of stay away from diagnosing injuries. I do think an ACL. It is a tough one, especially since it was. I think it was only 6 months ago, right? It wasn't like this.
September, I believe. It was partially torn ACL. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's. I guess that's not as late as it could be, but it's really about the sample size for me.
Sure, I got that.
All right. Let's keep rolling. My last helmet sticker guy is tight end Gunnar Helm out of Texas. I have him at number 61. Mark and Ryan both have him at 91, but we're going to throw it over to Ryan here. But I have Helm. He's got good length that he utilizes well at the catch point. He's not phased at all when he attempts difficult catches over the middle of the field. Like, he's willing to expose himself to contact to go up and make catches. He has really good hands, only 1 drop on 70 career receptions. I think he high points the ball well. He's got a basketball background, and he does a good job of like tilting those 50-50 balls into his favor. He was primarily a blocker before the 2024 season. I mean, he only had 19 receptions in his first 3 years at Texas. He was a blocker, and he was a special teams guy. In 2024, he became a big part of the passing attack. 60 receptions, 786 yards, and 7 touchdowns. I don't think he's like the best blocker. He's a better receiver than a blocker, but I do think he's adequate. Like, you can line him up in line, and I think you can have him block. I would love to see him as a tight end too. in like a 12 personnel heavy team as a rookie while you kind of develop that. But I like Gunnar Helm. I see people in the comments talking about his 40 time. He sprained his ankle on a false start on the 40. So he shouldn't have continued to run the 40 after that. I don't know why he did that. So take his RAS score of 4.49 and any of his athletic testing with a massive grain of salt, because he ran it on a sprained ankle that he literally sprained moments before. So his agent did not do a good job of prepping him for that moment. But so, yeah, I like Gunnar Helm a lot. He's a guy that I would be comfortable taking in day 2 to come in and be a tight end for the Eagles or really for wherever. So that's Gunnar Helm. I think I said Ryan was getting this one. Ryan, thoughts on Gunnar Helm?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I don't like anybody who fakes injuries with AI. I think that's just beneath them. Also, I hate that our good buddy Eagles Eric said his ankle exploded. It's never what you want to hear when you're talking about your ankle. But I digress. I think he lacks, kind of ideal strength, upper body strength, especially in the run pass or the run blocking game. Stronger defensive ends seem to overpower him quite easily. His route tree is pretty limited. His blocking, pass blocking as well is a little inconsistent. He is, even if his ankle hadn't exploded, it's not like he was, running a, 4.3. He's very average speed for a tight end. I just think he's got a lot of refinement to go before ran a 4.95 in high school. Okay, well, all right. Well, then there you go. Apparently, he's super slow, whether his ankles exploded or fake or whatever.
He even posted the photo of his ankle swollen. Check it out.
Yeah, it was sick.
I remember doing a video on it. Like, I was more impressed that he did the
running. Yeah. You know what? I'll say one nice thing. He's a tough SOB.
Yeah. All right. So that is Gunnar Helm. Quit hating on my guy for running with a exploded ankle. So let's go to the last one here. This is Mark's helmet sticker guy. His last guy is Wyatt Milam. I always forget how to say his last name, out of West Virginia. He is 26 on Mark's board, and for the third time, not inside Dibes' top 100. So, Mark, you're up first. Dibes, you get the rebuttal.
I think it's Milam, by the way. I'm not the pronunciation guide, but I looked it up, and that's what I found. I think this guy is just super versatile. He has an 8.1 relative athletic score as an offensive tackle. You switch that to an offensive guard, it's a 9.2 relative athletic score. But I am willing to kind of give him a try on the outside. I understand that he doesn't have the arm length of a usual tackle. I think he has the height and, more importantly, the technique to overcome some of those problems. He has 1,200 pass rush snaps in the Big 12 without allowing a sack. I think that's worth at least a chance at trying him outside. But I think we know that he's going to be a good inside interior lineman at worst. So it confuses me, like, why a guy like Tyler Booker, who I like, and I have Tyler Booker, I think 42nd or something in that range. He's just a guard. We don't think he has any chance of being a tackle. And we're grading him as, a fringe first rounder. Apparently Houston is going to take him at 25 overall, according to Lance Zierlein. But Wyatt Milam, I think, is going to be just as good on the inside, is much more athletic, has actually, better PFF grades in terms of pass blocking, and is an elite run stuffer as well, because he grades out as an even better run blocker than he does as a pass blocker. I guess in general, I'm always more forgiving to offensive tackles who so many people think are going to move inside. Like, I think Membu has a chance to stick outside. I think Campbell has a chance to stick outside. Milam, Josh Simmons, whoever you want to throw at me, all these guys, I think for the most part, could be offensive tackles. Some of them might end up being offensive guards. But I think Wyatt Milam is an absolute stud. I see a lot of Tyler Smith from the Dallas Cowboys in him. This is a guy who I would bet on. I think he plays with violence outside of the offensive tackle position. But again, if he's a guard, I'm still willing to take him 26 with that athleticism at the guard position and that size. I think he's a lock to be a starter in the NFL.
All right, so that is Wyatt Milam. Dipes, outside your top 100.
Yeah, I agree that he's moving inside 32-inch arms. The thing that sucks about Milam is that we didn't get to see it. Most of his snaps, or almost all of his snaps, were at tackle at West Virginia. So there's a lot of projection there. I think he's a guy that's rumored to go high second round. Is that fair? And the fact that we don't know how he's going to look, I disagree on the technique. I don't think he's, great in that area. I think he's a super smart player, but I think he's more of a round 3 or round 4 guy at this point in time.
All right. Well, there you have it, guys. Those are 4 helmet sticker guys for each of us. Just a different way to talk about these prospects and why we're high on some of them and lower on some of them. Even though we see the same things, it's kind of all about how you value the different characteristics and things. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Just another way to talk about some of these prospects for the last time, sadly, before the draft, which is 2 days away. So we are going to say farewell to these guys, some of these guys on Thursday night, some of them on Friday, some of them maybe on Saturday. Harold Fannin. Some of them on Saturday. But you guys can join in on Thursday. We're going to be doing a live draft show. So if you've enjoyed our draft coverage, come hang out on our live draft stream. It'll probably kick off about 15 minutes or so before the draft. We'll get details out there on Thursday night, but we'll read your comments. We'll hang out. We'll talk about the prospects the team needs. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a late night like it always is. But hopefully you guys come and hang out for that. Brandon chiming in here says this is way better content than WIP talking about trading AJ Brown for Abdul Carter. You missed it. Birds of the Round Table. We mentioned it like 3 times. All tongue in cheek, of course.
Did you hear that they are the ones who kind of started the rumors so they could get people talking? I love it.
For sure. So, anyways, that's going to about do it for this show. Let's throw it around the horn quickly here for final thoughts or plugs. Ryan, you're up first, man.
What an amazing season it has been in the college prospect ranking game such as this. But it'll be fun to kind of seeing where all these guys were going, which ones were right on, which ones were wrong on, and which ones I will personally shove back in everybody's faces. Can't wait.
All right. Dives, you're up.
Yeah, it was a journey, man. As soon as last year's draft ended, I was covering this draft. I'm already starting to cover the 2026 draft. Put out way more content this year than ever on the NFL draft. It's been wild. So I'm not going to lie. I'm excited to get ready for 2026. I'm kind of over this draft and get into the following year. But man, make sure you join us on Thursday. We've got a lot of takes, a lot of thoughts, a lot of opinions, a lot of fun stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, like Ryan said, bittersweet. Major thank you to Ryan. We've been on this journey every week for a long time. Yeah. College weekly recaps, fantasy football, all that kind of stuff. I'm burnt out, Eric. I'm straight burnt out. I can't do it anymore. This is my last video until the NFL draft. Join us Thursday. We're going to be having some drinks, celebrating. There's nothing better than the NFL draft. While Ryan watches the Phillies and Mark covers so many sports. I don't know how he does it. I watch NFL draft shit. So that's what I do.
And then on Friday, Dibes will have his first 2026 NFL mock draft up.
100%. I'm already got graphics and scouting reports put together. And I'll be revealing it on Thursday's show on offense and defense. Some of the biggest names to know. So, man, thank you everyone for watching, commenting. It's so fun. This is the best.
All right. Mark, you're up, man.
Tough Cover Radio Show every Saturday. Doing a ton of stuff with the Gambler this week. With the draft, I'll be on Sean Brace's show tomorrow. Just follow me on Twitter at Mark Henry Jr. NFL.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for our pre-draft coverage. Thank you guys for following along with the Armchair Scouts as we launched a new show on a new network this year. I hope you guys truly enjoyed the content. If you did, show up and show out on Thursday night. We will greatly appreciate it. Share the show with your friends. Share the Eagles Pinpool Network with your friends. We're still trying to get our download counts up and things as we head into another football season. So we appreciate any 5-star ratings and reviews. Appreciate you sharing it with your friends. Follow these guys on Twitter. Ryan is at Philly Sports PSA. Dibes is at Mr. Crockpot. Mark is at Mark Henry Jr. I am at Shane Huff NFL. And we will catch you guys Thursday night for the first round of the draft. Go Birds.